Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Bodcast. It is episode 122.
You probably don't remember what it is because I forgot to say what number it was last week.
Did you?
I know. I listened back to the recording and I'm like, oh no!
However will people cope?
I think
They'll be listening to it, they'll have no idea what's going on, it'll lead to chaos and anarchy.
I think they're probably okay.
Okay.
No one's complained so far.
Cool.
I'm here.
Joined by my lovely wife. And so we went to the Great Western Brick Show at the Steam Museum in Swindon.
UK. Just make it clear.
Okay. Are there Swindons outside of
I've
the UK?
no idea. Don't make me look that up.
We're not overly keen on the fact that there's a Swindon in the UK.
Yeah.
But so we thought we'd talk about the event and stuff surrounding it.
The thing is, since we left the event, I feel like that's all we've talked about. But I'm happy to carry on.
Okay.
Just for these guys.
It is, it's a very good event, and that's why we end up talking about it a lot. Do you want to give some details?
That is the Steam Museum.
Okay.
Since we've returned, I'm not feeling the best. So I'm a bit grumpy about that fact. But I really enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
It was a 2-day event. We made a new mock for it, so that makes it more exciting. And a little bit more stressful as well.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, it got there in one piece-ish. I think there was a little bit of things had fallen over in the boxes, but hardly anything.
Yeah, but I don't think anything had actually broken.
No, it's just I guess it's the difference between you just bring it in and it's assembled already. Although the coral reef was never actually always assembled. It's just,
No, always needed a bit of touch.
Well, it was more the fact that by the time it came in, I was so fed up with having carried it in that I didn't notice the rest of the setup. I just walked off and let you do it.
Yeah.
And I kind of did the same this time.
Yep.
I was more involved in Monarch's setup because he'd had a bit of a nightmare and his box had fallen en route and smashed quite a lot of his build. So I was rebuilding his mills plate for him. So that's kind of where my setup energy went.
Yeah. So, if anyone doesn't know, the way the Great Western Brick Show works is, as you said, it's in the museum. So it's one of these ones where the Lego show is incorporated into the museum.
Yeah.
Now, it is quite a large Lego show, so as opposed to something like the Southampton Sea City Museum, where it was one room, you go in, there's some tables and stuff on. It's a lot more distributed through. So you kind of enter, you go through this long room, which has quite a lot of Lego in it. Then you came out of that through a little tunnel, and that was then into the area where we were. So it's the second year in a row that's where we've been. It was slightly bigger this year, so the tables we were on weren't there last year.
Yes.
So I think there was at least 2 more tables in that section.
Yeah, and I think actually because of that, it was more joined up. So I definitely know last year people would come back to our table after having seen us and go, "Where's the rest? Is there any? Is this it?" Because there wasn't a clear trail round.
Yes.
I think there were still signs saying more Lego this way, but if they didn't see the signs, whereas this time you followed the Lego a lot more, and you would go, "Oh right, here's some more Lego. Oh, right, here's some more Lego," and it led you to the hall. So that was good.
Yeah, so after us, you kind of went round the back of a train and followed along, and then off to one side there was a big collab build where British members had entered like sections of a bridge.
Yeah.
So that was based on the British meetups that are held around the country. There was also one of the train setups with all the signals.
Yeah.
That one was there. And then you get into the main hall, and then there's a lot of stuff.
Well, there was like 3 more displays before that, but
yes, yeah.
Don't discount them. Some of them were really good.
They were the entrance to the hall.
Yeah.
So it's you kind of wind your way through the museum to look at all the stuff, and then after the main hall, you went out through some like a little dining area, and then you hit the room which had the cellars in it.
Yeah. So I think last year, because there was a formal meal as part of the evening event for the actual AFOLs, in the area where that bridge collab was.
Yes.
That's where all the seating was last year.
Yeah.
So they had to find a new place for the seating. That's why it was then outside, I think.
Yeah.
But also, I don't remember last year them doing as much food from the little hatchet in the hall. But maybe we just didn't notice. Because every time I went over to the hall, it smelt of bacon. Right. I really wanted bacon.
They definitely did, because that's where they had the sausage rolls.
No, the sausage rolls were in the cafe upstairs.
No, they had them in that one at the end as well.
Oh, I'm pretty sure someone went to the cafe.
Mm.
So The cafe, when I went past to get to the AFOL lounge, definitely seemed a lot less busy than it did last year. So I think they just had cakes in the main hall last year. But again, I can't remember.
No.
And it's not a key part of the event. I'm just letting you know the smell was overwhelming and I wanted bacon.
Yeah.
But I didn't get any bacon.
No. Poor you.
Yeah.
So I find Steam quite an interesting one to go to. So it is very large in terms of the number of people there.
Yeah.
So yes, previously they've had sit-down meals for people who are displaying and for volunteers. They had so many this year that wasn't possible.
Yeah.
And so they moved to basically they got a
food truck.
A food truck came around the back and we went and queued up and got food and we were second in the queue because, you know.
Because we're not silly.
Yeah.
We heard the announcement. We were like near the food truck to start with because we just happened to be there. And we heard them announcing it. There's going to be a long queue because remember there's over 100 of you. And at that point we stopped listing and went and got in the queue.
Yeah.
So I think that was smart.
Yes.
We ate pretty early because of it. And it slowly got darker and darker as the night went on because the seating area had no lighting. You know the guy who had the little candlesticks, the Lego candlesticks that he'd supersized and put lights in with the haunted house. Apparently he moved those out there. I didn't notice that, but
but it feels so. Comparing it to Bricktastic, it feels more relaxed.
Yeah, it certainly did. This time. I think Bricktastic is bigger, so therefore more stressful.
And I assume Bricktastic is more stressful because essentially Bricktastic they're renting out a space and then have to do everything. Whereas at Steam, the museum presumably helps in some regards.
Well, so people who run Steam, they're there like the Thursday, possibly even the Wednesday, moving all the tables and stuff. So I don't think it is the museum staff are doing it all.
No, I don't think they're doing it all, but you've got maybe more spots. So I know definitely at which one was it? Didcot Railway Museum. Obviously, it was the events organiser for the museum was very much on hand and helping sort out a lot of
that's
stuff.
true.
Yeah, so I think whether it's just you've got that slight backup.
Yeah, possibly. And you've got more hands sort of on deck because it's their museum, so they can support that as well. We do essentially take over the museum though. It is. And it's a really popular show.
It is.
I don't think they gave us any sort of stats on how many people came to the show. I'd quite like to know that. I find that intriguing. It felt like a lot. Saturday again was the busier of the 2 days. Like the morning was immense. Like people just arrived en masse. Whereas the Sunday takes a little while to pick up because people don't want to go out early on Sunday because it's nice to sleep.
It is.
We didn't, but that's okay. So you do get that constant flow of people. But like you said before, they are ticketed at different times, I think.
Yes.
So you get a big chunk of people, and then once they're through, you then have a little bit of a break.
Well, so we do where we were because, as I say, we're kind of on that route through to the main hall.
Yeah.
Once you're in the main hall, obviously, there's so many different ways you could go round it. There's no set,
there's also
you go round clockwise.
There's probably so much to see that there isn't a gap. Like, if you came in at the start, say 12 o'clock, by the time you got to 1 o'clock, you probably are still looking around that hall.
Yes. But so that's my point, that if you had everyone went round that hall in a particular pattern, then you'd still get that same, there'd be a lull at different parts of the hall. But because people go in and they can go in any direction they want, you're going to have, some people who see the mock in the left corner first and other people who see it last.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you get more of a constant in there.
I think it would be interesting to be in there, but at the same time, I really quite like not being in there.
Yeah, it is quite nice being down that end.
Yeah. And you make friends with the people around you as well, even if there's not tons of them. I think just...
Yeah, I mean, so we already knew everyone who we were with. So there was us, and then the Minifig Who, and Monarch, who obviously we've done lots of shows with previously. But then there was Paul Clark, who is one of the people who run the Black Country Brick Show.
Yeah, so we know him quite well because of that.
There was James, who is often dressed as Captain America, so we've done a lot of shows.
He's trying to lose that tie, I think.
Okay.
Because that was that year of events. Like, he's moved on to other things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's still Marvel. He's still a big Marvel fan.
Yes.
But at the moment, he's taking his Up House round.
Yeah. So, but we've seen him at a lot of events.
Yeah.
And then we had Lester as well. Who
he's in the London Calling chat a lot, and we see him at most of the events and chat to him. So no one sort of new to chat to, but at the same time, that's fine. It's nice to have familiarities.
But one thing I quite like,
just glossing over the fact that I failed at saying that.
Yeah. We'll ignore your inability to talk.
Can you say it, please?
No.
Please.
What are you trying to say?
Well, I can't tell you because I can't say it. I've made it worse. Familiarity. Oh. Can you just guess what word I'm saying and see if you can say it?
Flibbity gibbet.
Familiarities.
Oh,
is that a word?
I think so.
Okay. Moving on.
But one of the nice things is the amount of, people who you see from, like, the organisers of the other shows. So, like, obviously we were next to, across, like, the little aisle from Paul's. So we got to talk to him. There was...
Ian? His co...
Yeah, there's then Ian, co-organiser.
Yeah, he was going around looking for all the shows that he knew, the displays that he knew would be coming.
Yeah.
He's also very friendly. They're both lovely.
You had Mike from the Reading Brick Show.
Yeah.
You had, the other Mike.
From the Brick Festivals.
He wasn't displaying, but he still came round. We were sat next to him last year when he was displaying.
Yeah.
So it's nice chatting to them. And I had quite a long chat with Kev.
From Bricktastic.
Which was nice.
Well, Fairy Bricks, I guess, Kev's really from Fairy Bricks, right? It's a Fairy Bricks show, Bricktastic.
Yes.
I think, which is his main hat?
I don't know.
No.
But that was quite nice. My only other experience of him really was at, like, the setup for Bricktastic.
Yeah, and I think it's a hard thing to expect someone to be their best self when they're putting on a massive show like that. So.
Well, also, he is friendly in a northern way.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is quite an abrupt way.
Yeah.
But no, it was really nice talking to him. Good. So what I found interesting is at least 3 different people did ask me if I knew how much the carpet cost at Bricktastic. It's one of those facts that now goes around and people are astounded by it.
Yeah. I don't understand why it has to cost so much.
Yes. So, like, that's what I say, where Bricktastic is very much a different kind of event, so they have to provide their own carpet.
Yeah.
And so, it's a massive thing just buying a carpet. But it was nice talking together. We talked about the fact that you don't apply to go to Bricktastic, you register to go to Bricktastic. Yeah. And so that is basically because they get this massive hall and they can change how much of that hall they have.
Yeah.
It means that as long as you apply before the deadline, they can fit you in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you miss the deadline, whether they might be able to sneak you in later.
Well, it's not really very fair on them to have to do that. Because you've got to make all the decisions based on a point in time.
Yeah. But so it's very nice. Whereas we're now seeing that with other shows, it is definitely a case of you having to apply.
Yeah, so we applied for the Bristol show, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that is priority for Gertlog members because it's their show, which is absolutely fair. I'm in no way upset about this, but they have not got the venue for the amount of people who want to show at that. I think last year they learned some lessons about how many people they'd shoved into the space.
Yeah.
And are trying to reduce the number of people just to make it a less uncomfortable event, because I know, certainly for wheelchair and buggies and things, it was hard work. And even just walking around with a backpack on was a bit scary. So we're going to try and get to that one, even though we're not displaying, because it's nice to go.
Yeah.
We got friends down in Bristol that were nice to say hello to. So.
And kind of similarly, for the same reason, the Black Country Brick Show.
They're looking for a new venue.
This year is the last year at the venue they've been at so far because it's got too big.
Yeah.
And so we managed to convince a couple of people to sign up to display there, which is good. But I think they are now getting close to full.
Yeah.
So it is an exciting place to be when you are cramming it as full as you can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you don't want to be at this scenario that you're begging people to come along. Like, you want it to be a destination, not a chore kind of thing.
I should point out that although Kev says it's registering for Bricktastic, there is still an element of application. I'm guessing, if you went, I want to display a life-size naked David Hasselhoff, they might go, I don't think that's appropriate.
No, that's definitely a thing that people want to see.
Well, they might work with you to fashion a fig leaf. I don't know. But so it's as long as you're within
the guidelines,
the realms of taste and within the guidelines, then
realms of taste.
Yes, but it was nice. He said that he's spoken to sometimes you get quite young people applying, and what they want to display doesn't look that great, but
harsh.
They can help by pairing people up and say, look, we think you should talk to this person. They'll be able to help you improve on the mock.
Yeah. So
I think that's a really nice element of it.
See, I think where it said show us pictures, I went, we haven't built it yet. So there's an element of trust to our application, but I haven't had registration. I don't know if Kev came round to ours. I didn't see him over at ours.
I can't remember.
But I guess also the other thing about this year's show is that we've done a year's worth of shows and we know a lot more people. There was definitely an element of nervousness last year for the evening meal. Who are we going to sit with?
Yes.
How are we going to make some friends kind of thing? Whereas now we're like, oh, I like your new build, or like, oh, what happened to this one you had last year? Like, you've got that continuity in the grounding.
Yes.
So like, you don't have to introduce yourself to people. You're just like, oh, hi, nice to see you again. So that's nice.
Yes. And so we did. So High Tea Toys was there, and that was her first show. And I know she was quite worried about her first show. And we have heard. I know Polar Bricks. They're looking at where to do their first display.
Yep.
And I think maybe Bricktastic.
No, they've applied to Black Country Bricks.
That doesn't rule out them doing.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was thinking they were the other way around, but they're not, so it will be Bricktastic because they've applied to that as well. So.
They have managed to apply to it.
Register.
So, I mean, so there's a slightly weird thing that we talk about. So my favourite show is Black Country Brick Show.
Because...
so this is the thing. It's not because they provide bacon sandwiches.
No, but I do really like the bacon sandwiches. It's the way they provide the bacon sandwiches.
It's the fact that you get... Or at least we got hand-delivered bacon sandwiches during setup.
Yeah.
And so it's not the act itself, it's what it symbolises. It's the friendliness, the making sure everyone is there and happy and looked after. Yeah. So if you are looking for a first show to do and they still have space, then I think that's a really good one.
Yeah, I agree. You feel valued, very, very valued. Yeah. And even though it's your first time kind of thing, you're part of the little Black Country Brick Show family. Because the social in the evening was superb.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that quite a lot. Because I like fun and games. I'm okay with an auction. Like, certainly Steam's auction last year was an eye-opening experience. But I like the fun and games. And I know they had some planned for Bricktastic last year, and the food scenario kind of cut short time. So, but then we can make our own fun. We can all conversation is good too. So
yes.
I certainly think that Steam have the best level of people though for discussing your mocks with. So there's a lot of kids who are very forward about what they like and what they don't like, and getting into, and they like to tell you what they've got at home and stuff. And so you do have some really lovely conversations, and you get quite a lot of good reactions from them. Yeah. And I think that's been the best show for that so far.
We've talked about, I think that you get a slightly different audience at the museum-based ones, and so you do get more of that interaction.
Yeah.
I think... but you do get that at all the shows. I think it's just you get slightly more at the museum ones.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I personally find the Steam audience to be the best so far for me.
Yeah.
I guess your first show does always hold a special place in your heart. Sounds so corny, doesn't it?
It does.
But yeah, no, we haven't been to a show yet that we haven't enjoyed. So
yeah,
some of them have been, they felt quite long. So certainly that Sunday afternoon at Bricktastic is hard because it goes on late. And I think you're aware that you've got certainly for us, a long way to go home.
Yeah.
But it's still fine. We went all the way from Bricktastic home, didn't we?
Yes.
That's long.
And that's what we'll be doing again.
I know. I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's worth it. It's fun. I really enjoy this. This is not the direction I thought our lives would take. Like all this socialising and showing off things. It's just not the kind of thing I expect from you.
No.
But you seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So non-committal. Do you want to just pack it all in today?
Nah,
no.
Okay.
Yes, I thought you are genuinely enjoying yourself. So, Steam was fantastic.
Yeah.
Highly recommended. And it was nice to finish the mock. But we definitely need to...
We managed to... we were so panicked about the mock. And, if you saw on London Calling Friday, I was still making kind of foam inserts to package the mock away properly.
Yeah.
But we managed to do it. We got it all in the car. We forgot to take pretty much everything else.
Yeah, so you have like all the Brick Bods sign and the all the shows that we've done, event bricks and stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't take any of that.
Yeah.
But we will remember that for next time. But I want to make sure we continue to improve our mock, because I was looking back at the Steam photos from last year, and the coral reef compared to the coral reef now is worlds apart. Like, it's so bare at Steam.
Yes.
Compared to what it is now. And so, like, I'm kind of annoyed with how perfect you wanted to make our mock, because clearly we've done really well on that one, and we got away with doing less. But the scope to move forward. But there are some exciting plans on what we want to do with it, and add a bit more.
There's definitely a lot more we can do with it.
Well, we worked out we had 41 elf sets in total, and we've got only 14 in the mock. So, we need to make it 4 times the size.
Yeah, that's not happening.
We wouldn't fit in the car.
Yeah. In some ways, it's a shame that Steam was our first one.
Why?
Meaning that they always get, assuming that we follow this trend of we don't take a show back to...
And mock back to a show.
Yes. So therefore, and if Steam is always going to be the first one where we show a new mock, they always get the worst version of it.
Yeah. But I still think I'm still proud of what we took. I guess in the case of the coral reef where you want to do a version 2, they'll get that, and it'll still be...
But it'll still be the worst version of version 2.
But it'll be the best version of version 1, I guess. Because it's hard.
Yeah.
You've got to pick a show, and that's just the way we started.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine.
Yes.
But yeah, I was quite astounded to see the difference in the coral reef in the pictures. So it's interesting. I guess we've got to get started on version 2 with the coral reef.
Yes.
Or find another mock to do. Or improve the mock we currently have. Or just chill out.
All three at the same time.
Okay. And maybe do some more work in our city?
Yep.
Yeah, because this is the thing. You don't want to... Because we are city builders. We want to make our own Lego city. We don't want to put all of our effort into things we take round when we're not then putting any effort into stuff that stays
Well, the aim is that
we always
the
try
coral
and
reef goes back in, that the old stuff will go back in. So it is adding to the city.
Yeah.
I just don't think it will make it into the city between shows very easily.
The elves one?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
It might.
Okay.
But yeah, so if you want to let us know your thoughts on any shows, any exciting ones that we've missed, I'll just wait for Carrie to finish yawning.
Cut out the yawns. You don't need to narrate them. You narrate nothing else in your life apart from what I do on the podcast.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. You're like, I'm just going to leave the house. That would be a thing to say. No, just leave the house instead. Yeah. Anyway, as you...
So yeah, let us know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. You can watch our backlog of episodes. There's lots of them now.
Back catalogue, I would call them. They're not a backlog.
It's a backlog if people haven't seen them because they want to, listen to them because they want to listen to every single one. Surely, all 121 previous episodes.
Yeah, plus this one.
Listen to this one.
Okay, move on.
Stop talking nonsense.
Stop talking.
And we will catch you next week for another exciting episode of the podcast. Bye.
Bye.
That was a long bye.